Hey everybody, it's Christine at Zeidman Development, and today I'd like to walk you through how you can import and export data transformation grids so that you can work with them in a wide variety of ways in Importacular and the Razor's Edge. So we are on a very simple import, just so you can see. This is my file. I have a first name, a last name, and a column that contains both phone numbers and email addresses. So in order to work with this, just so you can see, I'm going to go ahead and move my tabs over. I have added a tab that gives me some data transformations. So I'm saying if the source value has an @ symbol, I want to use an email address. If it has a dash, I want to use a cell. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we're going to open our template. So a couple things I want you to remember here. When we're working with our template, we're doing our phone number. Now we have phone numbers and email addresses in the same column, but we know that it's a phone number or an email address based on the formatting. So if there's an @ sign, it's an email address. If there's a dash, it's a phone number. So what I've done is I've added my phone number field, my phone number / email field, to both the phone number, which is the contents of the phone number, as well as to the phone type. Now those email addresses and phone numbers are not going to be accurate phone types, so we do need to add a data transformation. So I'm going to come over to my settings. Now, of course, this is a really simple example. I could go through the process. I could add the plus sign. I could build out my rows. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to import. So we're not going to add the plus sign. We're not going to add those that way. We're going to use the import option. So I'm going to click on my import, export. And then I have three options. First is a standard export, which takes your grid that you've already built and it exports it to an XML file. If you've already built this grid and you want to save a copy of it, export is exactly what you need. However, if we want to import something to this grid, then we have two options. We have a standard import, which again works with XML files. So if you've exported to an XML file and you want to import it back in, that's what the standard import is for. Today, we're going to work with an Excel import. So I showed you my Excel file. I showed you that tab. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on my Excel import. Brings up this screen here. I'm going to go ahead and select my file. So I need to open that up here. And then once I do that, it's linked. Now this is going to be similar to your Razor's Edge import in that we're going to use our file fields to select what we want, or our default values. So I'm going to actually select my source value for my file field for my from source. I'm going to select my from target, or my change to target. I'm going to select my Razor's Edge value. Now I don't have any other values here, but I do know what I want my match type and my replace type to be for all of them. So I'm going to use a default for that. Now, if you remember, my match type for the email address was just the @ sign. So I cannot use an exact match because that's not going to work. Exact match has to be the complete contents of the cell matches what's in the file. Won't work. I can't use a word match either because that means a complete contents of a word. Well, the email address contains the @ symbol in the very middle. It's not a word. It doesn't have a space on either side. So we have to use an any match. Now, if you're working with regular expressions, you can of course build out formulas and you can use those here. For the purpose of demonstration, we're not working with those today. So then we get to our replace type. Now, just a quick reminder, complete replace type means that we're replacing the full value as it's coming into Razor's Edge. Partial means we're just replacing part of it. We're working with a phone type, which is a code table. Code tables have to be complete replace. So we're going to go ahead and select that complete replace. We are not going to work with the stop processing because that works with partials. And for what we're doing right now, that's not going to be helpful. So we're going to go ahead now, click import transformations, and you can see that's now populated my grid. Now, couple pieces here. If I want to change this, if I want to add to it, of course I can do that. So let's go ahead and we're going to add another row. So I did have, if you remember, look at my file. I have somebody here that did not follow my rules. So both of my email addresses do have that @ sign. One of my phone numbers has those dashes, but then Donald Duck here decided to use periods instead of dashes. Now, we do a period in both of those email addresses. So I don't want to change those, but I do want to make sure that Donald's phone becomes a phone number. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of adding another from source, I'm going to do a catch-all. And I'm just going to say that anything that doesn't match one of the two above is going to be a home phone number. So if it has an @ sign, it's an email. If it has dash, it's a cell number. If it's not one of those two things, it's going to become my home phone. Since we've made a change here, just to show you how this can work, we're going to go ahead and do a quick export. So we're going to save this. I'm going to go ahead and save that there. And just to show you how easy it is to do this, we're going to delete all 3 of our rows. And I'm going to show you how to import it with a standard import. So we've got our phone DT, imported it right back in. I hope that helps you understand how you can work with importing and exporting in data transformations. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day.